said, my teacher is not going to be removed in a corner anymore. So what you got? You got the Israelite community rising up, coming out, teaching God's people who they are according to the Bible. Not like the pastor, not the lies the pastor giving them. The pastors don't give you lies. They're not giving you who you are according to the Bible. Thus saith the Lord, you must keep God's commandments. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1 and verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel. Who Moses speaking to? All Israel. And these be the words which Moses speak unto all Israel. So nobody else is there. He said all Israel. Jump to verse 7. I went to the beginning of the book to get the context of who Moses is speaking to. He's speaking to all Israel. Read. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 6. So we're in the same book of Deuteronomy, but now we're in the 7th chapter. So those same people, right? From verse 1. Verse 1, chapter 1. Read. For thou art an holy people. He's still speaking to them same people. He said, for thou art a holy people. Read. Unto the Lord thy God. Unto the Lord thy God, meaning your God. Thy is a possessive word. It says, to the Lord thy God, your God. He's speaking to Israel. Read. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee. The Lord what? Have chosen thee to be a special people. To be a special people. Read on. Unto himself. Unto himself. I'm gonna stop right there. We're gonna keep reading, but if you look at the society today, in this world today, who are the best singers? The singers. Who sings the best? Who?
No doubt, we do.
Okay, that's the point. Who dances the best?
We do.
We
do everything the best.
Who dominates in sport? Okay, read it from the top again. Because I want to bring it up to date. You know what I'm saying? Because sports, those things weren't going on at this time. You know what I'm saying? They weren't singing for the other nations during that time. You see what I'm saying? So I want to bring it up to today. Okay, read that from the top again. Read it from the top again. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. It says, and holy means separate. It says separate. That's all it means, separate. So he said, for thou art, read from the top again. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people. So this particular people is a special people. Read. Unto himself. Unto himself. So when the Lord made them, he couldn't make them plain. You see what I'm saying? Because we got to realize that our Lord, our God has style. You see what I'm saying? He has a way about him that we have on us. When it said the Lord made man in his image, and then we come down here and we have a style about ourselves, but he said he made us in his image. So he only made you like how he was. You see what I'm saying? He gave you the personality like he had. You see what I'm saying? Read it from the top again. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So the Lord says he made a specific people to be above all nations on the face of the earth. But in America, what they teach you? All man was created equal. You see what I'm saying? Is that true though? All men created equal. How are all men created equal? We were slaves. Yeah, we're going down. You see what I'm saying? Give me that. Deuteronomy 28:1. Read that. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass. So it's the same people. We're still in the same book of Deuteronomy. But now we're going up in 28. Moses still giving them God's laws. Read. If thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day. So listen, diligent meaning you will take the counsel. Meaning you will think about, you know what I'm saying? You really will ponder on that thing. You won't just let it fall on deaf ears, so to speak. Read on. That the Lord thy God will set thee above, that the Lord thy God
will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
If they hearken diligently. If they were to hearken diligently. Okay? Jump to 15. So if you read Deuteronomy 28 verse 1 through 14, it gives you the benefits of keeping God's law diligently. Okay? Read 15.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15.
It's the flip side though.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments,
If you would not listen and do God's laws and commandment, read.
and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses,
All these what?
all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So if they didn't listen to the laws of the Lord and they keep them, then all those curses are going to fall upon them. Jump to 32. Let's get straight to the point. Read.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
Hold on. Read it from the top again.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
It says one of the curses, if you didn't follow God's laws, were that your sons and your daughters shall be given to another people. Let me ask you this here. When you think about world history, what other people had their sons and daughters given to another people? None. Outside of who? Right here. The people on this side right here. Look at this sign right here. One thing all these people right here had in common was all of their sons and daughters were given to another people. These are the 12 tribes of Israel. What we're reading to you is, this is who this Bible is. Yeah, all these things right here. You got northern and southern kingdom. When you read the book of Kings, you read about the split between the northern and the southern kingdom. You read about the so-called Native American and Hispanic Indians. You know what I'm saying? The so-called Native Americans and the Hispanics are the northern kingdom of the nation of Israel.
Right.
So you had a split in the book of Kings where you had the southern kingdom, so this is the southern kingdom, which would be the first, when you go to the top of this list, Judah, which be the American blacks. Benjamin, which be the West Indians, like the Jamaicans, your Trinidadians. And Levi, which be your Haitians. They consisted of the southern kingdom, okay? So these other 10 broke off, and they went to idolatry. And so the Lord cast them out. When you read the book of Kings, it gives you the history. The Lord cast them off as a people. And then they came over, they took a council, and the Bible speaks about when they came over here to the Americas. These three stayed over here in Jerusalem. And then they later went against the laws of God, and the Lord sent the other nations against them, which were the Romans. When you read about the conqueror of Jerusalem in 70 AD, Titus and Vespasian, they conquered the land of Jerusalem.
Wake them up.
You see what I'm saying? And these people these three tribes, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, they fled into Africa. Later on, thousands of years later, they were rounded up and brought over here on slave ships. Some of them fled into Africa, some of them fled into Europe. Maybe like you had the Dark Ages, you know what I'm saying, the Middle Ages, where blacks were ruling during that time. Like the King James, one who authorized the translation of the Bible. He was a so-called black man. You had black kings over there ruling during that time. But they was ruling in wickedness. The Lord sent our oppressors against us, took us down one by one, went to Spain, went to England, went to Russia. And because it was a war during that time. And now you see us over here today, we are a product of that war. We were conquered. When they conquered us, they brought us over here on slave ships. That's the history. That's the history, but they ain't gonna teach you that. That's what you have to research. And go through the Bible and research world history and find out what happened. What happened to us? We were kings over in Europe, and Africa. But all nations came against us. But that's how we all are here today. But finish reading that. 32 again.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long.
Hey, Eric, you ever seen 12 Years a Slave?
I haven't saw all of them. I saw some of them.
Did you see that part when that one sister, they took her son and her daughter from her, and she kept crying, and he was telling her, shut up. You know what I mean? Basically, she kept crying. Let me give you another example. Roots.
Yeah.
When their sons and daughters were giving it to them, they just cried.
Yeah.
You can't just let that go.
Yeah.
So when that scripture says, and thy eyes shall fail and longing for them all the day long, because you can't let it go.
Right.
Years gonna pass, it's still gonna be in your mind. Read that last part again. Read that. Read the whole scripture. Read.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail.
And fail because you can't do nothing about it. It says it's gonna look and fail. With what?
With longing for them all the day long.
All the day long. Until you leave this earth. Read.
And there shall be no might.
Might means strength. And there shall be no might
in thine hand
to get your sons and your daughter back. You couldn't do nothing about it. Why? Because you was a slave. You know, read verse 46. Read that. Watch this.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse
45.
And verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee.
Remember, this is all because they broke the laws. But they were given the opportunity to keep God's laws. And they will be blessed among all nations. But this is the flip side. When we read the flip side, if they broke God's laws. Read.
Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, until thou be destroyed.
These curses, they're going to follow us to this time here today. Read.
Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments.
To do what?
Keep his commandments and his statutes.
The Lord is serious about his commandments. He's serious about his commandments. Read.
Which he commanded this day. And they.
What's the day? Read the verse before that. Then we're gonna let him see what the day is. Read that.
Moreover, all these curses.
All these what?
Curses.
These what?
Curses.
Now read.
Shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, until thou be destroyed. Because thou hearkenest not.
Because you didn't listen
unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee. And they.
And what?
And they.
And they is talking about the curses. And they
shall be upon thee for a sign.
For what?
For a sign.
For a sign. So I know that's the beauty salon and boutique lot, because you got a sign right there, right? I know this is Las America's store, because what? The sign. Read that part again.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
It's going to be upon, these curses are going to be on these people for a sign and a wonder. Meaning you're going to wonder, why do these people act this way? What's going on with these people? You're going to wonder. It's a sign and a wonder. So the curse is going to be on these people for a sign and a wonder. I'm going to show you something. We keep going.
And upon thy seed forever.
No, just during that time.
Upon thy seed forever.
Forever means today too, Eric. Read.
Because thou servest not the Lord thy God.
Because we didn't serve the Lord thy God. Because the Lord is jealous. The Lord is a jealous God. He said, I chose you. I'm dealing with you. And you gonna turn your back on me? Okay, I'm gonna put curses on you. Read.
With joyfulness.
We didn't serve the Lord for joy. The Lord gave us the whole world. But we want to do what all the other nations were doing. He said, I give y'all these laws to keep. But we want to turn our back on him and keep and follow this man. He said, I'm gonna send the other nations against you. And they're gonna deal with you how they see fit. Read.
Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart.
We didn't serve the Lord with gladness of heart. Read.
For the abundance of all things.
And it said for the abundance, meaning for the whole world. Because the Lord gave us the whole world. We ruled this world in righteousness. We made the other nations keep God's laws. That's the Lord's plan for us. To be the example. To make these other nations follow his laws. He ain't just choose us to be choosing us. He chooses us to be that righteous example. And if they don't keep the law, he bring judgment on them that don't keep his law. That's who we supposed to be. We supposed to be representatives of God on earth.
That's
you see what I'm saying? That's why he chose us, but we didn't, and we went astray. Read on.
Therefore,
He said, now therefore, since you didn't want to serve me, therefore,
shall thou serve thine enemies.
oh, read that from the top again.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
He said, so since you didn't want to follow me, therefore shall you serve your enemies. What God called enemies? Read.
Which the Lord shall send against thee.
Which the Lord sent them against us. The Lord put the spirit on them to come against us and find a way to conquer us and take us down. Because we're a powerful nation. So the Lord had to put that spirit on them to be able to come against us. Read on.
And hunger.
And hunger. So today, as a people, who do we go to for food? Do we as a people, these people on this side, do we create our own food? Let's just deal with the southern kingdom. Judah, Benjamin, Levi, the so-called African Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. Do we as a people create our own food? Do we have our own food? Do we feed ourselves?
You saying do we?
Yeah, do we? Like, so, for instance, if you want to go to the store, let's do an example. When you go to the grocery store, you want to buy food. Do you go to your own people to get that food?
No.
Who you go to?
Walmart.
Who owns Walmart? You see how it goes? Read it from the top again. Read it from the top again. What would God call it? Read.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, and hunger,
And hunger for food. Read.
and thirst.
And thirst. Meaning this water I have right here. I had to go to the other nations to get this water. And thirst. Do we as a people can have our own water system? You know? Read.
And in nakedness.
And in nakedness, your clothes on your back. Do we make those raw textiles? We don't make that material. Even if you made your own clothes, you gotta go get the material from them. Read on.
And want of all things.
And the Lord said, in want of all things. Meaning you want to go to the hospital. You want to bury your dead. You want to give birth to a child. Education. Driver's license. You see what I'm saying? Anything you want. You got to go to the other nations. Read.
And he.
And what?
And he.
This is a man the Lord is talking about. And he. He gonna, watch what the Lord say. He going to show you exactly who this person is. Read.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
Hold side. Read it from top again. Hold side. Okay. Read it from top again. No, that part, and he.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
So you know this is a real photograph. This is a real slave. William Chin is his name. This is a real picture right here. But these are some of the Joseph Biden they had on nut. They made movies about this. You know? And he what?
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
Until he have destroyed thee. Meaning he gonna take those yokes of iron off your neck when you were destroyed. So when it says he's gonna take those yokes of iron off when you were destroyed, what happened with the slaves when they freed them? Someone didn't want to leave the plantation.
Yeah.
But you're free. Go ahead and go.
Yeah.
Read that part again, that part.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
They didn't even really have to. Someone just stayed working for the slave master. Someone didn't even leave. They was destroyed. Now they say, okay, we can take them out. Now they can, now with years later of us, those jokes been coming out, and we still destroyed because our people don't even know who we are. They don't even know who they are. And you know what I'm saying? So that's why we out here to teach the Bible. Jump to verse 68. This right here, the nail in the coffin of who the people this Bible is talking about. Who the Lord chosen people is. Read.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68.
Watch this.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt.
Okay, so give me that, Egypt. So he said, So you know about the Israelites coming out of slavery, and when Moses parted the Red Sea, right? So he said this time he's gonna bring them out of Egypt. Egypt is only a Greek word that means restraint or captivity or bondage. Okay, that's all it means, because it wasn't always called Egypt. It was called the land of Mizraim. It wasn't called, and that land was called the land of Ham. It was all the land of Ham, Africa. Africa didn't even have that name on it. All right, read.
The book,
Here was Egypt in the Bible.
the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee
That brought thee
out of the land of Egypt,
out of the land of Egypt.
out of the house of bondage.
Hold on, there's some noise going by. Read that from the top again.
I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
So Egypt is synonymous for house of bondage. What's another word for bondage? Captivity, slavery, restraint. You can't go against your own. You can't go on your own will. Read that from the top again.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
So Egypt is synonymous for bondage. Let's go back. Read that now. Read from the top again.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Remember, this is the curse right here. We're still going over the curses. He said, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again. Read.
With ships.
With what?
With ships.
So, did you, outside of this right here, did you ever hear about the Israelites going back into slavery again? Going back into Egypt again? The land of Egypt. So you got the history of Moses splitting the Red Sea, them coming out of Egypt. Did you ever hear about them going to that Egypt again with ships?
With what?
Going to Africa again with ships from Egypt, the Israelites. Have you ever heard about any other people going into Egypt again with ships? So it's showing you, I brought that out to show you that word Egypt is synonymous for bondage. It's not just speaking about that land mass. You see what I'm saying? So read it from the top again.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Slavery again. So, because it was enslaved in Egypt. But he said you're going to go into slavery again for how?
With ships.
How do we get over here?
Ships.
Read on.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
Moses said, by the way I'm speaking unto you. Basically saying, that's how it's going to go down. By the way I'm speaking to you. Read.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
He said, because they was going to their kingdom. He said, you're not going to see your homeland again. You should not see it again. Read.
And there,
And once you got off those ships,
ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
until our what?
Your enemies. For bondmen
For slave men
and bondwomen.
and slave women. You see what I'm saying? So we are product of them people. These are the prophecies. This is 1,000 years before it happened. But it came to pass. Because, give me Isaiah 46:10. Let's show Eric something. The Lord said, my counsel shall stand. Meaning the Lord, watch what the Lord say. Isaiah 46:10. We're going to go back to Deuteronomy. Isaiah 46:10. Read.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 46 and verse 10. Declaring the end from the beginning.
So when you read the book of Genesis, when you go to Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, when you first read the Bible, it speaks about the beginning. Read that from the top again. He said, and let there be light. Remember? Read that from the top again.
Declaring the end from the beginning.
Meaning, he declared things that are happening right now from back then. You see what I'm saying? Declaring the end from the beginning. He already knew how he was going to roll. You see what I'm saying? The Lord had thought this thing out before it even happened. We're just living it. You see what I'm saying? He prophesied that he's going to have a people he's going to choose, and nobody can go against that thing. That's the whole thing I'm telling you. Nobody can go against it. He said, okay, when those people was in heaven with the Lord, he said, these how it's gonna go down. These gonna be my people. These gonna be my people. I'm gonna be against them. I'm gonna be against them. Hey, then put them in the earth. And you can't go against it. You know what I'm saying? Only thing you can do is come in and take your position. What's the position? Come back to God's laws.
That's right.
Now that you hear who you are as people,
Right.
you come back and follow God's laws. Because that's why we in this position as a people. That's why we're killing each other. That's why they shoot us down in the street. Because we at the mercy of the Lord. Finish that.
Declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times.
Man, from old time,
The things that are not yet done.
things ain't done that the Lord says he's gonna have, like this war going on with Russia. All that's finna bring out toward the end. The end is coming. That's why we out here trying to gather our brothers in. We out here trying to gather the troops. Because if we don't come back to God's laws, we're gonna get caught up in that judgment when it ain't even meant for us. Read it on.
Say, my counsel shall stand.
The counsel of the Lord is everything written in this Bible, all the prophecies. He said, my counsel shall stand. Meaning, I said y'all gonna go on slavery on ships. 1,000 years later, you went on slavery on ships. And this book this is thousands upon thousands years old. And it came to pass. You know?
And I will do all my pleasure.
He said, I'm gonna do all my pleasure. This is his pleasure. All the things he said from the beginning with how he wanted it to go, you know what I'm saying? That's the Lord's pleasure. The Lord knew we was gonna turn against him. The Lord knew we wasn't gonna keep his laws. But it's all according to his plan. He said, y'all gonna fall away from me. Y'all gonna fall away from me. But then give me 30 and 20. Read.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 20. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity.
What the bread of adversity is, we going through hell in America. We going through hell in South America, Haiti, all over the world, we've been scattered. He said, though the Lord give you the bread of adversity, read.
And the water of affliction.
The water of affliction. We afflicted as a people. So he said he's feeding you adversity. He's giving you what's that part again? For the thirst of what?
And the water of affliction.
Read.
Yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore.
So he said, my teacher is not going to be removed in a corner anymore. So what you got? You got the Israelite community rising up, coming out teaching God's people who they are according to the Bible. Not like the pastor, not the lies the pastor giving them. The pastors don't give you lies. They're not giving you who you are according to the Bible. Thus saith the Lord, you must keep God's commandments. What are they teaching you? No. The commandment's been done away with.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is